But the message I was getting from that, Randy, and you practice this, you and Lori practice this all the time in your family, is we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And within each and every one of us, there is a natural, innate intelligence that knows how to heal, knows how to deal with our emotions and natural right action, knows how to solve problems and find solution. It's in there, in all of us. And along with it, there is a basic goodness. Basic goodness in everyone and everything. And if we learn to trust that and know that and appreciate that, our life will be much better. That's the spiritual side of us. Then there's the human side of us, which we're dealing with this morning. Because we've come here in this human experience to grow and learn more about who we are, why we're here, to understand first and foremost our connection with infinite spirit. But you know what? Did you see Dave's eyebrows at that one place? And when he went, oh man, we got to take control of our mind and our emotions. It's like, how do we do that? We are stimulus loops, you know? And we get, oh my gosh, when we see a gorgeous sunset or somebody we love or something wonderful, we break open in tenderness and joy. And then, if we see somebody who absolutely drives us crazy or says something, oh man, that's totally different. You know, Pema Children, Ernest Holmes talks a lot about dealing with our emotions and our triggers, but he doesn't tell us a whole lot on how to do it. Pema Chödrön, the exalted Buddhist teacher who lives very much with her feet on the ground, talks very much about how to deal with these situations that come up, because I don't know if there's any of us that don't have triggers. And you know, people push our buttons, but they didn't install them. And that's what we have to remember. Pema talks about, and this was a book she wrote about 10 years ago. She says that her mother, who's 100 years old, which should be 110 now, but is 100 years old, lives in California. And I wonder what message that was. I haven't figured that one out yet, but and lives in California. She says, I call her every day. And she said the last time I talked to her, which had to be the day before, I screamed at her and hung up the phone. And she said, so, you know, I did what I do and I made a joke out of it. I have a new definition for elder abuse, a 100-year-old person abusing a 70-year-old person. And she said, but that's really not the point. The point is, she pushed my buttons. And why have I not yet learned how to sidestep that conflict? At my age, how have I not learned how to deal with the buttons that are being pushed? And isn't that the truth for all of us? Our buttons get pushed because we haven't healed things in us that want to be healed. They want to be healed. Now, there can be a whole myriad of reasons why we have installed buttons, you know. One can be we have deep-seated memory. We may be unconscious of it. Deep-seated memory that we haven't yet made sense of. It's not healed yet. So somebody will say something or do something that brings up that deep-seated memory, and we see it as a threat and have to protect ourselves. When really our body is just wanting us to know there's something that needs healing within us. Or it may be that we have an attachment. And remember, our first Sunday was about getting aware of our attachments. We're attached to a certain belief system, and we're going to defend it at any cost. And when somebody says something that's not quite in alignment with our our belief system, we have to defend that belief system no matter what, not allowing people to have different views and opinions, which is going to get us in a lot of trouble. Or, which happened to me today, we can be criticizing somebody because they're mirroring something that's in us. Okay, Kirk has pants on today that aren't my favorite. I mean, they look nice on him, but they ride up when he's at the piano. So he gets up there and his pants are like halfway up his leg. And I want to look at how handsome he is and wonderful. And I'm focused on his pant leg. So what happens to me? 3 times this morning, I've fallen on my pant legs. I've tripped up the stairs twice. I tripped coming up here and I said, okay, God, I get it. I get it. You know, I should just love the top half of him when he wears those pants. You know, that's my thing. I need to get over it. So sorry, babe. It was my mirror. You know, I love your pants. It's interesting because I think we all have triggers that come up. Pema Chodron went on to say in the next sentence, is a time recently along that same issue that a woman she knew just really offended her. And she went home, and what did she do? Instead of going to her state of peace and healing and meditation, she called and left that woman a blistering message. But, you know, the universe wants to work with us. And she said her daughter happened to be right there and listened to her. And she said, Mom, that's not you. I've never seen you act like that. What's going on? Wake up call, wake up call. And that's the truth for all of us. Oftentimes we get caught in our unhealed emotions, things we don't understand yet. You know, Ernest Holmes, first of all, said, God never argues, and mystics never argue, because there's nothing to argue about. Remember, it's Rumi who said, out beyond right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field. I will meet you there. In that field, when the soul lies down in that grass, the world doesn't make any sense anymore. Language, ideas, even the word each other. What are they? And that's what he's talking about. The mystics recognize that this human experience is filled with emotion. We need to make friends with our emotions and learn how to deal with them. Because those funny little things I'm talking about, the pants and the phone call, those can be healed pretty easily. But the deep triggers we see that cause violence and cruelty are the things we go, how can we help this? How can we heal this? We do it by starting with ourselves and doing our work first. Because I know oftentimes I look at things and I say, oh, how could someone do that? And I think, you know, I need to heal my own buttons and the things that are going on in me before I can possibly try to judge something bigger. I have to help uplift the energy of this world right here and right now. There's a story that we've all heard, we all know, I've probably told it hundreds of times, because its potency is still so real and so applicable to today. It's about a Native American grandfather who's trying to teach his grandson about the violence and the cruelty in the world. And he wants to show him what causes that. And he said, grandson, inside myself and inside everyone, it's like they are two wolves fighting. One wolf is filled with violence and hatred and revenge. And the other wolf is filled with compassion and kindness and love. And the grand says, but Granddad, which one is going to win this fight? And the grandfather said, the one I feed. So you and I have that question. Which part of us are we going to feed and nourish and bring forth within us? What are we going to do when something happens and our buttons get pushed? It's that sentence or action that someone does, and that trigger within us that comes bubbling up, and we want to go. And the first thing always is that one of the hardest things to do, but is to pause. And in our heads, we can ask ourselves, there's really two reasons for our triggers and our buttons. Well, there's probably a lot more, but two it can boil down to. One is, what are we afraid of? Most of our triggers come from fear. So we can say, what am I afraid of? Or the other thing, the other trigger comes from the wanting to control. And that also is fear-based. What do I want to control and why? And if we start really looking at our own, making friends with our own emotions, our own feelings, and understand, okay, what's going on in me right now, and what do I need to do about it? You know, it's again, my boyfriend Rumi, he always has a good answer to things. And he says, This being, this human being, is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. Every morning, we're not quite sure what we're going to wake up with. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. There's something greater that wants to be revealed. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Dave, I'm doing the same thing. It sounds so good on paper. It's another thing to do. It's a little bit harder to do in person for sure. But think about what happens when you get triggered. Do you get defensive? Do you shut down? Do you get passive aggressive? Do you feel guilty and remorseful? I'm the victim. Any unhealthy emotion like that is really a call for all of us. Settle in and do our work and understand. Remember, I started out, inside all of us is an innate intelligence. What do I need to know right now? And the first thing I want you to be aware of in this moment is, what are you willing to let go of? Because it takes courage and bravery to let go of those habits, because it's the habitual living that gets us in the most trouble. We get so used to this pattern we have that our parents have had maybe, or our culture has had, and we move and move and move in that habitual living, and we don't take time to stop. So it's about stopping and understanding, what is it that innate intelligence tells me right now about life, about myself? What's the perfect and right thing to do right now? So this is going to be our prayer wall Sunday, where our practitioners and ministers get up in front. And Randy, thank you for already establishing our prayer and what it is. We start out already knowing, right where we are, everywhere present, always, is that infinite spirit, that creative intelligence and potential that you and I have in every moment to do better, to know better. We have that. That's always available. And since we're one with that intelligence, we can use it right now. But it's speaking what you want. As Randy said, we get up here and we've already put all the intelligence and the energy and the love and the healing in this room. And you come up and you just state, I'm willing to let go of. So our ministers, our practitioners who are trained in prayer and knowing the truth can know it for you, can know it with you, that you let go, and what you experience is greater love, greater possibility, greater understanding, greater compassion, greater joy. You fill in the blank. It's there for you, but it's there for all of us. So as we come up, just what am I going to let go of? Just close your eyes for just 1 minute. What is it? What button right now in me? I don't know what anyone walked in with, what pain, what uncomfort, what joy, whatever it is, but what is it that gets in the way that I'm willing to let go of right now? Let that percolate as I ask our ministers and practitioners to form a beautiful line just in the front of the stage here. We've already established the presence of spirit, the presence of love, the presence of healing and understanding. And even if you haven't come up to the prayer wall, please release your prayers to the infinite mind of spirit, knowing as they are spoken, they are answered. And as our prayers are coming to their conclusion, we know that we can give great thanks right now. Just open your hearts. Let your hearts be broken open in gratitude for the power and presence of spirit that is here right now, doing its work in, through, and as each and every one of us in this moment. We feel it, we know it. Oh, we are grateful for it, and we release it right now to this infinite mind of love. And doing our part here, as we've had our prayer wall, we've seen our prayers released into the infinite mind of goodness. Right now, we do our part by feeling the bravery within us, the courage within us to do the work, to make the change. So just say after me, I have the courage to change. I know I have the inner strength to step up, to be open, to be healed. I know that God is good, that God is love, that God is possibility, and so am I, and so it is. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you and see the beauty and goodness. And it's so delicious. Thank you.